Today I'm going to give you a review on Russian pointe shoes. As you know, I got to meet Alexandra, the CEO of Russian Pointe, at Move It in London, and finally got to try their shoes. Now, they never used to stock them in the UK, but you can now buy them from justballet.co.uk if you're in the UK and seeking this brand. I requested that they bring with them Sapfir and Almaz models, which are apparently the models that are most suited to my foot. So they brought some along for me to the show so I could try them in various sizes, widths and vamp lengths. I just want to go through some of the basics about Russian Pointe. There's 3 collections: the Spotlight collection, the Jewels collection and the Classic collection. The Spotlight collection and the Jewels collection are quite similar in the fact that they both have pliable shanks. You can have a U-cut or a V-cut vamp. You can have with drawstring or without. But the Spotlight collection has pre-arched shanks. Now this is a Sapfir model and it has a pre-arched shank, which basically means you don't need to break them in so much. In fact, they're pretty much ready to wear out of the box. Whereas the Jewels collection is not pre-arched. They all come in the same kind of shanks, which are flexible soft, flexible medium, flexible hard, and soft medium and hard. So that's a total of 6 shank strengths, which is quite handy. They also come in 6 different widths and 3 different vamps. And of course it just varies on your foot what kind of vamp or width you're going to need. To give you an idea, this Sapfir model has a vamp 1. It's quite short, perfect for my short toes. And this model in particular is a width 2. But sizing may vary because in the Almaz I was actually the same length, but the width was a 1 and the vamp was a 2. But I actually found that later that maybe I really needed to go for a shorter vamp. I'll go more into what I think about the shoes in a second. Now the Classic collection is a bit different in the fact that it comes in 4 widths and it's more designed for the diamond foot shape. It also features V-cut vamp without drawstring. I'm not sure you can actually order them with a drawstring. On the website it tells you that both models in the Classic collection are high crown, which is a high profile, which is the side of the shoe here. So probably not many people buy those shoes, to be honest, because not many people need a high crown. You'd have to have quite a specific foot for that. Now Russian Pointe shoes come in a really nice box, as you can see, and on the side of the box here, let's see if I get to focus, you've got the details about the shoe alongside there, which is the model, size, width, vamp and shank. And then when you open the box, they're really well packaged. They come in a lovely little bag. Now this model is Almaz, which is, what collection is this one? I can't remember now. Let's have a look on the website. It's the Jewels collection. Now the Jewels collection is not pre-arched in the shank. So I have only tried these on. I actually need to sell them because they are wrong for me. So if anyone's interested, let me know. As you can see, they're beautifully crafted. The thing I love about Russian Pointes is the satin is really gorgeous. It's just like an off pink colour, almost white, I guess you could say. The insides of the shoe are really luxurious. I don't know if you can see that. They've got a really nice soft texture on the sole. And I do feel that they are constructed really, really well. The shanks themselves, this is a flexible soft, the same as the Sapfir, which is flexible soft, but remember this one is pre-arched, this one is not. Now, with this one, as you can see, being a flexible soft shank, it's actually quite hard, if I'm honest. that would take me ages to break in personally. If I was to compare it to a Grishko, I would say that this shank in Flexible Soft feels kind of like a standard medium shank in a Grishko, but it's got a slight flexibility here which reminds me of a ProFlex. However, it's worth noting that this part of the shank down here is really stiff. It does remind me of a medium Grishko. So if you are to buy these and you wear a medium Grishko, I would say definitely go for the Flexible Soft first maybe, but then it depends on your foot strength. I've just tried these on, so I'm not going to go ahead and try to break them in because I won't sell them. They are beautiful. I love the V-cut vamp. Now, it's the first time that I've been able to get away with not having a drawstring in my shoe. Usually when I try shoes on without a drawstring, I have like bagginess going on around here and they just don't fit me at all and I can't get away with it. However, in Russian Points, I can get away with that, which is really cool because they give a nice sleek appearance. The platforms, let me just show you here, get it to focus. The platforms are made quite well and they've got this nice kind of padding bit here on the pleat. So it's kind of like it's kind of almost pleatless really, which is quite, I personally feel it's a really nice look. However, if you like to darn your shoes, I would say it'd be really hard to darn these, if I'm honest. You might have a bit of trouble because usually when I darn mine, I cut the satin off the tip and darn around the edge, but I don't feel that you could probably get a needle through that. But there's no need really to darn them because they aren't really going to wear down that quickly, but I darn mine for the stability and because I personally prefer it. Now, the thing I found really hard to get used to in Russian Points is the platform, although it appears rounded, when I'm on pointing them, it feels kind of rectangular. Now, this is just my personal preference. There's plenty of people out there that have gone and bought these shoes and they love them. I love them, but it's going to take me a long time to get used to them, which is a shame. So when I'm on point, it feels rectangular, and when I'm turning in them, it doesn't feel like what I'm used to. Now let me just compare to you. Now bear in mind, the Sapfir and Almaz models are pretty much the same. They're both got, I think it's kind of like a low to medium profile. They're semi-tapered in the box. They've got kind of like a medium-ish platform, I guess you could say, and they're more suited for a narrow forefoot. This is my beloved Grishko Maya, which, as many people know, I love Grishko Maya. This is the custom ones I get. I'm just going to show you the difference. Bear in mind that Grishko Maya is kind of a similar shape, as you can see there. Now, the platforms look quite similar, however, the Grishko feels more rounded, whereas the corners of the Russian Point feel quite sharp, if that makes any sense. When you look at them together, they look very similar. The thing that I would love to see in a Grishko shoe is the lovely luxurious lining that you get with the Russian Point. I'm just going to show you now. This one here, I've got ribbon stuck in it. This one's been shellacked, so excuse the appearance inside. Okay, so that's Russian Point, like that. And this one's Grishko. Just stuff that down. Can't really see inside because it's shellac. But basically, what I really like is the fact that the lining is really soft, and when you put your foot in, it feels really smooth. Whereas with a Grishko, it feels a bit more tougher. The way the shanks are constructed are obviously going to be different. I did see the shanks outside the shoes, which Russian Point have, and you can see the pictures on my blog because they show you the pre-arched construction and the construction of the non-pre-arched. I don't believe Almaz or Sapfir models are 3/4 in the shank, because what I did with the Sapfir model, because I felt, although it's a perfect vamp for me, I felt I wasn't getting on the platform fully. So with most of my shoes, I have them 3/4 or I do it myself. So I peeled it back, and this will show you how Russian Point models are constructed in the shank rather. So if we peel it back, I've had to unpick all the stitching to be able to peel it back like that. And then they've got this part here, but then they had the shank further down. Let me just peel that back so you can see. Can you see that? This bit here is the main part of the shank. I've really cut it down, and I've gone, actually I've wrecked the shoes, to be honest. I've gone too far with the cutting the shank down because I was desperate to break them in, and they just wasn't breaking in right for me. Bear in mind this was the pre-arched model in the flexible soft, but I just didn't feel I was getting on the platform enough, and I got really impatient, so I 3/4 them and then I went too far. So that's a lesson well learned. However, I still might be able to get some use out of them. I just need to get the box a bit softer and work them through, and you know, maybe they'll be good. They look really beautiful on the foot. They look absolutely gorgeous, there's no doubt about that. Compared to my Grishko Maya, they do look a lot more pleasing on the foot, if I'm honest. They just mould to the foot beautifully, and they've got a really sleek appearance. The colours compared to Grishko and Russian Pointe are fairly similar, apart from Russian Pointe has that slightly white appearance, the satin, but the satins are extremely different. I have to say the satin on the Russian Pointe is so smooth and feels really gorgeous. Pricing wise, Russian Points here in the UK are £50 a pair, which is, in my opinion, a little steep. If they're going to last, say, longer than Grishko's, then sure, for me that's going to be a worthwhile investment. However, at the moment, because I'm so used to my custom Mayas, it's going to take me a serious long time to get used to these. However, I've got a few friends who wear these and they absolutely love them. So do give them a try, and if you can find a stockist nearby, go and try all the models on that you can. This one's more suited to my foot. I also want to show you the difference between a Vamp 1 and a Vamp 2, because I personally feel it's quite substantial. Bear in mind, both of these shoes here are a 37.5. The Almaz here is a width 1, Vamp 2, shank flexible soft. This is a 37.5 and it's a width 2 Vamp 1. Let's just put them together and let me show you the difference here. There's photos on my blog as well where you can see the difference. Now, I personally feel that is quite a difference. It doesn't look it, but when they're on, you can really feel that difference. So if you, like me, you've got short toes, you have issues with Vamps, definitely go for the Vamp 1, don't bother with the Vamp 2. I went for the Vamp 2 in the Almaz and it's just not going to work for me. I've tried them on, it's just not working. And there's no point in me trying to cut the shanks down because that's not going to work either. So yeah, I'm going to have to sell this pair. So anyone who's that size, who wants to buy them, get in touch. I'm going to show you the difference between the boxes. Now with Russian Pointe boxes, I find that the box isn't as hard as a Grishko really. It's got a nice bit of flexibility here where you might need it when you roll through demi-point, which is good. However, I do feel that the box might not last as well as the Grishko. That's just my personal opinion. If we look at, I mean, this is quite a worn Grishko, but when I feel the difference, I feel that the Grishko is more stronger in the box really, and a lot harder. Don't know if you can, they do sound a bit different when you bang on them actually. And when you look inside, they do look a little different. I would say really that not many shoes do compare to Grishko's box, if I'm honest. I've tried a wide variety of brands and I must admit the box on a Grishko is pretty damn tough. But saying that, if you prefer a box that isn't going to take a lot of breaking in and you like the feel of a softer box, then you are really going to like Russian Points, because then you don't have to worry about having to really break them in. Russian Points are available worldwide, including Europe. We've only just got a stockist in the UK. I was speaking to Alexandra at Move It and recommended that they'd speak to Just Ballet, who were exhibiting there. So they did, and they are now a stockist. They have a few models in stock at the moment, but I do believe they should be getting more. They have mainly widths suitable for medium to wide feet. If you're very narrow like me and you take a width 1 or 2, it's best to get in touch to see if they can get some in stock for you. They also have mainly, I think it's Vamp 2 and up. So if you're looking for a Vamp 1, again, drop them an email to see. Just Ballet are located in Fort Bay, which is in Essex, which isn't far from me. If you're coming from London, you can just hop on the train at Fenchurch Street, which takes about 45 minutes or so. It's a really well stocked shop, and they've got an online store too, which is handy. If you have any questions regarding Russian points or Grishkos, feel free to drop me an email. I now have a blog complete with my website, which you can find at www.straighttothepoint.net, where I also interview dancers. If you are a dancer that would like to have an interview and a feature on my site, then please drop me a mail. You don't need to be a ballerina. I'm looking to interview dancers from all walks of life, all different ages, even as adults who started later in life.